Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Martha. My channel is Retire Abroad Finance and I'm coming to you from our lovely outdoor kitchen in Croatia. Today's video I wanted to talk a little bit more about how I manage my finances, our finances, when we are traveling overseas, because there are things to think about. We want to think about security concerns. We want to think about ways that special steps that we have to take to be able to access our money overseas, or to make any decisions about transfers, stock purchases, things like that. So this video is to talk about how I am doing it. There are different ways you can do it. This is how I am doing it. And before I even begin, this is not meant to be any sort of financial advice. It's just an explanation of what we do. So, to begin with, for those that don't know, I retired a little over a month ago now, and we headed out overseas. And we had sold everything. I'll drop a link to those videos here. We sold everything, and our plan is to travel the world, and we will be slow traveling, which means staying a month at a time. So it is really important, since we may only come back to the U.S. once every year or every other year. It's very important that we be able to access our money and be able to pay our bills and different things like that. So this video is actually to explain the setup that we have in order to do that. So first of all, let's talk about bank accounts. So to begin with, if you have an account, a bank account in the United States, there are some banks that will not allow you to have an open account if you do not reside permanently in the United States. There have been some accounts lately in the news, at least in the expat community, that have talked about people getting their accounts closed because their banks did find out that they were overseas, living overseas, not just traveling overseas. I wanted to have two different banks, if you will, or brokerages, with money market accounts where we could have money available to us, and they were large international banks, and so I had more faith that we were going to be able to access our funds. So what I was looking for specifically, I was looking for a place where we could have our money. I would be able to access it, and where if I needed to go to an ATM machine in a foreign country, there would not be a international transaction fee, and there would not be an ATM fee, or if there was, that it would be reimbursed. So I did find two brokerages. There may be more, but these are the two that I went with, that are very well known and have the functions that I'm looking for in their online platform, and that was Fidelity and Schwab. Both of them will refund your ATM fees. So, I don't often get cash out because, where we've been so far, Italy and Croatia, there's a lot of card usage. They'll accept the card, your credit card. And I haven't had to pay cash for as much, but when I've had to take cash out, I've always gotten the refund within a couple of days at either Fidelity or Schwab. So there's that. In addition to that, they're very large, and they have a great deal of experience with international transactions and people traveling. So I do have full faith that if a bank card got grabbed by a machine, or if I lost it, or if it was compromised, I do have faith that they would mail something to me overseas. I may have to pay a postal charge, including the overseas, but at that point, it would be worth it to me to do so. So I use both of these brokerages for cash management. So I have a debit card on both of them. And then I use them both for investing. Schwab will have my 401k rollover money and a small cash account, and then Fidelity has the bulk of our money and I pay bills out of Fidelity. They have a fantastic platform function called Bill Payer, and I love it. It pulls my Amex bills in, and I can just pay them in their entirety. I honestly wouldn't even have to go out to the Amex side if I didn't want to, but I still do. So, so those are the two that we've chosen. They also, well, I know this about Fidelity. Fidelity is very good linking to different platforms, be it credit card or, you know, to be able to bring in my Schwab info so I can look at everything in one view and see my net worth and see how things are performing in one view. It'll even connect up to Treasury Direct for my bonds that I have. So, you know, I can't complain about it. I love them both. Now, the only thing that I do with them is I make sure that I am using a VPN in both my phone and in my computer. And a VPN can make it look as if you are signing in from the United States. So, you know, some things that might kick you out and not let you use them, or that might give you different content, like your news stations or Netflix or something like that. If you use a VPN, it looks like you're signing in from the United States, and then they, you know, let you see what you would normally see. So they also provide a security layer so that if I'm using my cell phone on an airport Wi-Fi, I can have confidence and enter in that my password for my Fidelity app, and I know that I'm actually routing through a VPN, and it's much safer for me. You know, just saying. So there's that. So those are the two major banks or brokerages that are handling our cash. I also have a small bank account in the town that I'm born in, and that's for my use when I go back in the summer to help with my mom. So, you know, she tends to give me a lot of cash when she reimburses me for things, and so I need a place to put that cash because I'm not using a bunch of cash. So I put it back in the bank account. Easy peasy. So there's a very small amount in there. Now, I also have Wise. So small account with Wise. I'm going to put a picture up here of what it looks like, the app. And Wise is really neat in that it lets me hold multiple currencies. So it comes with a digital debit card. So I just pull up the app on my phone. Again, I'll put the picture here. Pull up the app on my phone, and then it gives me a digital debit card so I can pay for something in that currency with that debit card. I can also order a physical debit card if I want one, but I don't want one. I don't want to be getting money out of the ATM for Wise because they have very low limits. It's not, to me, it's not a good program when I've got fantastic program with either Fidelity or Schwab. What Wise does for me is it enables me to actually pull cash out of either Fidelity or Schwab to hold in the Wise account. And then if a currency dips in value, I can go ahead and buy that currency right now using, you know, a good currency rate. And so it helps me to be more efficient with my alternate currencies. So right now in my Wise account, I'm holding Japanese yen and I'm holding euros. And I'm buying when the euro drops. I'm buying when the yen value drops. For a little bit of background in that, when I went to Japan back in, I think it was 2019, when I was in Japan, it was 100 yen to the dollar. And I found Japan to be very expensive. I was there for 11 days, helping a daughter get set up in her apartment and school and the whole 9 yards. So I was there for a while, and I found Japan to be very expensive because it was 100 yen to the dollar. Well, now, if you take your dollar in there, you don't get 100 yen, you get 150 yen. So right now I'm buying yen because their economy is very slow, and they could start to stimulate that at any time. And then that level, the number of yen that you get for your dollar, will start to drop. So I've already bought all these yen. We're going to be there next spring, and so I can use them if the currency drops. So that's how I use Wise. I have it. I don't have a whole lot of money in there, but I have some. So there's my bank situation. Now, let's talk about credit cards. We own 5 credit cards. And before you think that's too much, we have 5 of them for a reason. We don't hold a balance in any. We pay the balances off monthly if there's a balance. But we hold them because if you're traveling and you're booking on a credit card, you don't want to book things on a debit card. You're booking an accommodation, you're booking a flight, you're booking whatever on a credit card, and something happens to compromise your credit card, they'll shut that down. They will shut that down. And there are lots of credit card companies that will only send the credit card to your home address. They will not send it to where you are in the world. Not all of them do this, but many do. So you always want to have backups. So I've heard of couples that are traveling where they each have between 5 and 7 credit cards. We have 5. So I'll go into which specific ones that I have. But, just know that we have the 5. We don't carry a balance. We pay them off monthly as we are debt-free. And I have no desire to go back into debt. So the first credit card that we have is the IHG card. If you are planning on traveling and you don't have this one, I really suggest you get it. A tremendous help it has been to us. I'll put a link down below if you want to use my link to get it. And I'll also post a picture here, if I remember, of what the current offer is for signups. But with this card, I have been able to use points, either that I've earned or that I bought, to hotel rooms in Tampa, in Rome, in Malaga, in Munich, all over the world, places where hotel rooms are extremely expensive, and I have gotten them for half price or free because of this credit card. So when you buy points in a buy one, get one sale, you're buying a point for an equivalent of a half of a cent, okay, 1/100th of a dollar, so a half of a cent. When you pay for that room, you're paying in points, and if you do the math, it almost always works out to about 50% of what you would have paid in cash. Not only that, but if you book ahead of time and you have to cancel your booking, you can always cancel points rooms up to 24 hours before, and you get the points right back in your account. If you pay cash or put it on a credit card, then you're going to have to pay, unless it's fully refundable, in which case you paid a higher rate. You may not be able to get a refund on that, or you may only get a partial refund on that. So FYI on that. I'm also earning points, and I use those points, as I just said, to be able to get free nights. And I use my free nights for the expensive stays, the one night before a cruise, or we did 5 nights in Malaga. Well, when you book with your card, not only are you booking at half the price with the points, but when you book with points, you get your 4th night free. So that takes the point value down even further. So anyway, this is a good deal. This is through Chase. It's a IHG Premier. I'll put the link down there. So that's our first card. Oh, all of these cards have no international fees, and they all have some sort of traveler's insurance also. So there's that. The second card that I'm going to talk about is a Business Inc. Preferred. This is a great card. It can be as little as you own a YouTube channel. You go ahead and create a business name, and there you go. You got your, or apply as a sole proprietor. You've got your card. This card gives me the most in travel right now for points. I have used the points on this card, for example, for our international flight to Milan, and we got a fantastic deal. I only had to pay the fees and taxes, as is the norm when you buy with points. I'm earning very, very quickly the points on this card. It's a great card. I've forgotten the fee amount that this one is, but it's not exorbitant, and it has great value to it. So gives great travel perks. So there's that one. For the Sapphire Preserved, this is another Chase card. So this one is really good for travel costs as well. It has great points flexibility with your Chase cards. Not so much the IHG one, but with the Business Inc. and with this one, they have a lot of partners that you can move points to. So I've moved points to purchase flights on many occasions. The test trip, I had 2 flights on points. So far this fall, I will have 2 large flights on points. So, you know, it's a big deal. It saves me, it definitely makes me back the money that I've paid for the fee. But it also, you know, by charging on a credit card and then paying off the credit card, you're not putting your debit card number out there or your bank information out there. It's perfect. So in any case, this is a great card for those. I did not get the Sapphire Reserve because I got the Amex Platinum. I'll go into that in a minute. And I didn't want to have 2 very high dollar charge cards. I did not want to have that. So I got this one, and actually it does me just fine. I like this card a lot, so highly recommend. As I said before, all the links below for the cards themselves if you want to sign up. I don't have affiliate links or anything like that. Some of them may be my link that I can earn some points and you can earn some points or something like that. Okay, so the last 2 cards I have are both Amex cards. To begin with, I got the Amex Gold. They give you a choice to get it in rose gold color or gold. My husband's is gold, mine is rose gold. So the big thing about this card is that you get 5 times the points for groceries and dining. The dining is global. The groceries are not. They're in the United States. So if you have not yet set out, I highly, highly recommend you get this card and start putting your groceries on this card because you will earn points very, very quickly. Again, this has already paid for a flight for me. And if I remember correctly, the annual fee was $95, I think. So, you know, just by paying for 1 flight, which I already have done, I've more than made the $95 back. And there's a lot of other little benefits that they have, like there's a $7 a month Dunkin' Donuts credit, and you know, there's other little benefits that we use, not since we're not in the United States. But I will tell you that some countries do not use Amex. They don't accept Amex, I should say. It's an expensive card for the vendor, more expensive than having a Visa or a MasterCard. So just be aware of that. But in terms of points usage, this is a fantastic card to, you know, book accommodations. If they're not an IHG hotel, that is, book accommodations and be able to earn those points and then use those points on your flights or, you know, whatever you're going to use them on. So highly recommend. Lastly, this is a very popular card. This is an Amex Platinum card. I'll talk about this for a minute. So I got this card specifically because I had a great offer attached to it. It was 100,000 points at the time. Plus, there was a free priority pass and then other premium lounges that you could use with this card. So in all the flying around that we were doing, I was thinking, you know, hey, I definitely would like to be in a lounge for that because it's already can be difficult travel days. And a lounge, you get free food, you get a more secure Wi-Fi, you're more comfortable, it's not so crowded, you don't have to worry as much about your things, that kind of thing. Well, we've tried to use the priority pass that comes with this at 3 different airports in the United States. And all 3 of them couldn't get in. The first one was in DC, and the terminal we were in, they had a priority lounge, and I'm not kidding when I say there were probably 20 seats in the place. There was a line out the door. So we were not going to be able to get in to that lounge, and they had hardly any food. It was just a little coffee thing. So that was really disappointing because we had a long layover there, so we weren't able to use it there. We tried again in Boston, and that was not good. We were in the international terminal in Boston. I can't remember which terminal it is, but there was an Air France lounge that was part of the program. And so we were taking Air France to come over to Milan. I'd paid for it with points. And so we went up there thinking, fantastic, we've got, I think it was 4 hours before the flight. So we're just going to go ahead and hang out in the Air France lounge. Well, we got up there, and the lounge was not open to priority pass people until 5:30 in the evening, which is after the last Air France flight took off. So, that was our flight. So, very, very frustrating because we paid for the priority pass and we have not been able to use it yet. There have been a couple of other airports that we tried to use it in, and they didn't have a lounge location. I understand that the lounges in Asia are supposed to be really great, but here's the kicker. For this card, they just raised their fee. I was already paying, I think I paid somewhere in the neighborhood of $695 for the card, which I was okay with because there are other benefits that I'm using. We're using the entertainment credit of, I think it's $20 a month or something like that. My husband gets Disney Plus, which has other channels associated, bundled up with it. And then I forget what all else we're using it for, but I felt between that and the free flights that it was worth it. Well, they just raised the price, and I think they raised it to $9.95. And what they gave you for it was a whole bunch of stuff in the U.S. that's only good for the U.S. So seeing as how it has not been a good experience, the lounge, trying to get into lounges, and, I haven't been able to use it so far, the card, in Croatia, for example, and then I'm not going to be able to use it in Albania. I just don't see the point in paying a higher fee for this. I'm not getting my money's worth, not happy. So I can't recommend this card. I know some people do, but I can't recommend it. It's getting to be extraordinarily expensive, and if you're traveling like I am, you're not going to be able to take advantage of most of the benefits. So there's that. So I can't use it. Okay. So basically, let me wrap up what my philosophy is. I have ATM cards in large banks that I know will ship a new card to me wherever I am in the world. Those banks will reimburse my ATM fees if I have to take money out, and they don't have foreign transaction fees. All 5 of these cards here, they don't have foreign transaction fees as well. And they all have a function, except maybe the American Express Platinum, which the function was the priority lounge, but we know how that went. So we may find another card to switch out for that one because I do think we need 5. So anyway, we concentrate on getting our ATM fees refunded. We concentrate on not paying any transaction fees. We concentrate on making sure that we have trip cancellation insurance and interruption insurance, which we do on these cards. So, that has that. I have flexibility. I can log into my Fidelity account or my Schwab account from virtually anywhere in the world using the VPN. I have Surfshark. I'll put a link below if you want to sign up. They've been great so far. We haven't had any issues with access. The other thing that I do want to mention is that we are really careful with our ATM cards. When we go to take money out, we go to an ATM that is attached to a bank. We don't go to one of these ones that's in the 7-Eleven or on the outside of a mall or something. We go to one that's attached to a bank, and we take money out there. And I take out enough that I don't have to do it very often. So if a machine grabs my card for some reason, sometimes they will. If there's a problem with the card or if there's a glitch with the machine, sometimes they'll grab the card. I want to be able to go into the bank and talk to someone and see if they can get my card out, or whenever they open the machine, if they can contact me so I can come pick up my card and not have to order a new card. So that is how we handle our finances. Lastly, I do have emergency cash. I have new $100 bills in various places in our luggage. If we had to, if our cards for some reason didn't work, or if we were in a place where we couldn't use any cards but we could get to a currency exchange, we could take a new $100 bill to the currency exchange and we could get enough money to be able to do whatever we needed to do until we could make a workaround. So that's all that. I would like to hear, if you're traveling or if you're thinking about traveling, what have you found so far? How do you deal with your finances? How are you getting access to it? How are you protecting your finances? What cards are you using? I'm not a huge fan of credit cards, but I will tell you that I've saved a ton of money with a point system, and I know which cards I use for what. So, which ones are you using to book? And if you have American Express Platinum, are you keeping it with the new fee? I think it's almost $1,000. I don't know. Anyway, put your comments below. As I said, I'm going to link everything below in the description if you want to click through and sign up for one of these cards. Lastly, I did launch my travel channel. I'm going to put a link to that below, but it's also found here. And I would invite you to go over and take a look at our travels so far. So, in any case, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and God bless.